Hi, second graders. So here are the things in your supply pickup and how you want to organize them. So first thing, you should have your brown bag with your name on it. It should be stapled. So remember, open it carefully because you don't want to unpaper clip things that are all paper clipped together. So I'm going to lay mine down nicely so it doesn't tip over. One of the first things you should have inside yours is your green subtraction flashcards. Another thing you should have inside of your bag, if you needed them, is a new eraser, a new marker for your whiteboard, and then also if you needed it, there should be a new whiteboard. The next supply you should have in your bag is a piece of chalk. So your piece of chalk, it might not be in one piece, but that's okay. Just make sure you're careful with this because it will break. If it hasn't broken already, it might, but it can still be used even if it's in pieces. But keep it in the baggie so it doesn't get chalk dust on everything. And then the next thing, you want to keep this sealed because you're going to need all these parts for our science lessons, is you have your new science kit. You can kind of take a look at it, but make sure that you keep everything zipped up in here because this can get really messy if you open it and start taking stuff out. So keep it all together. The next thing, I'm going to pull out all my papers gently here, is you should have, let me move some of my supplies out of the way. Remember your supplies, you might have your own way of organizing your supplies like these, so put them in a safe spot. The next paper you should have is your practice spelling steps. You should have a My Shape book. You should have a workbook, and this looks just like your other workbook, except for this one down at the bottom says Volume 2. This one is we're gonna be using it in, I think for Unit 4. Yes, so we're on Unit 2 right now. So you're gonna need this probably soon in a couple units, but hold on to it. So put this in a safe spot and make sure you don't mix it up because this says Volume 2 and it starts where our last book left off. So put that in a safe spot. You have your January work tracker. You should have your Unit 4 homework and remembering. You know it's Unit 4 because it's 4-1. The 4 at the beginning is our unit. You should have Unit 3. Unit 3 homework and remembering. It says Unit 3, and this is the Unit 3 is the smaller one. You should also have Week 15, high frequency words. Week 16, Day 3 sort. Week 17, Day 3 sort. And Week 18, build that word. And then you should have these papers put together. You should have a blue piece of paper, a white piece of paper, and a black strip of piece of paper, all paper clipped. So make sure those are still together. And you should have a single black piece of paper. So from there, these are your art papers. Put those in a safe spot. Where I like to keep my art paper is inside my binder. My papers here. Inside my binder, I like to keep all of my art papers inside this front folder to keep them nice. So there's my art papers. Your binder might be getting a little full, so if you have, so we're going to go to the math section first. So for math, if you still have all our math games, a lot of math games, there we go. You're going to need to keep this coin booklet, but if you still have Unit 1, which I took out, but mine says 2-1, keep the Unit 2 because that's the unit we're on. But if you have anything that says 1- something or 1-1, 1-2, you can take those out and recycle them. But I'm going to flip behind and I'm going to put my math packets. I'm going to first put Unit 3. So Unit 3 will come after Unit 2, and then I'm going to put in the Unit 4 one and put it after Unit 3. So that way it goes 2, 3, 4. And then the next area you want to go is the Being a Reader section. Pastor James. And then I'm going to flip to the back section so I put everything in order. Open up my binder, and then I'm going to put these in order for which way they came. So it should be like, sorry, yours were probably in order and I just messed mine up. Here we go. So I'm going to put them in order. So it's going to go 15, 16, 17, 18. So 15 goes first, then week 16. If I can get them in. There we go. Week 17. And then my week 18 isn't hole punched. Hopefully yours is. If it's not, remember you can just poke holes in it when you try to stick it in. Or if your parents have a hole puncher, you can ask them to hole punch it for you. And then we actually need to flip back to the front. My goodness, mine do not want to go in. There we go. You want to flip back to the front because we have our January work tracker. If you still have this chart, these papers from winter break from December, you can take these. You can do whenever. If you have some extra time, if you want some extra practice, you can do this packet. You can do any of the I Spies during your free time, or if you haven't done these yet, I still have some coloring sheets from before. So if you have any of those, you can do those whenever. I'm not assigning any of those fun activities. That's just for you. But we're actually in week 2. But for your January work tracker, and this is a great tool for you to use to try and reach your schoolwork goal and get your schoolwork badge if you check off all the work that you have each week. So there's my binder. Oh, there's 2 more papers. See, this is why we do these, to make sure everybody's on track, including Mrs. Rhodes. So you should have your shape book. My shape book isn't hole punched, and I don't think yours is either, but you can just put it in the front because we're going to use that during a math lesson for next unit. And then you have these practice spelling steps. So you want to go back to being a reader and put this in the front of your, so here's my being a reader. So after my word games, put this in the front of if you have any of these cards. So that way you know the steps when you're practicing your spelling words. Here are the steps. Remember, you look at the word, say it, spell it, all those things that we did again in class. So that way you have it written down right in front of you and you can remember. Or you can put this, if you have a place I know some of you have like a desk area. If you want to put it up in front of your desk, you can do that too. But make sure it's just in a safe place where you can keep going back to it. So then my binder is all good to go. Make sure, again, your workbook, volume 2 for math gets put in a safe place. And make sure your chalk gets put in a safe place. I'm going to put all of mine into my pencil pouch that I have. And make sure your whiteboard marker, these are the good whiteboard markers. They're the Expo ones. They're the ones that hopefully last quite a while. But make sure, as always, that you don't push too hard, and make sure when you when you're finished using it that you cap the marker nice and tight. Okay? And that should be all your supplies. You might have a few extra things if you needed some stuff. You might have, there's a couple of extra little things if your birthday was this month, but that's most of what you should have. So organize your materials, get them nice and put away nicely, and let me know if you have any questions.